So yeah, I think we can get started slowly. So thanks a lot to everyone for tuning in and for joining today's webinar. So what we will be focused on today is to show you how you can build a 13-week cash flow forecast with LiveFlow. What we will be going through is one of our newest templates, which will be in our newly launched premium templates library, which is a category of templates which are we define as, advanced templates, premium templates, have a lot more functionality than some of the others, and can really just help, for you to drive your business forward and or to get your clients to drive their business forward. So I think the way we will go about this today is we'll just share the screen in a minute, but this 13-week cash flow forecast template that we will show you today is quite a big model, so I don't think we will get to build all of it from scratch. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a combination of kind of showing how it's built from the ground up, but as well as just walking you through how it's built so that you can understand how to tweak it for yourself in the future, and how to use it going forward. As always, please just raise questions right away when you have them. We will see the Q&A instantly, and I would much rather, I don't need to have all the questions in the end. I would much rather just answer some questions on the spot and get them sorted, and then and help you to move on from there. So with that, let's go, and let me just open up my screen here and share this. And Tushar, can you give a thumbs up? You can see the screen? Okay,
yes, we can see it.
So let me just get this down here, and hold on a sec. Cool. Okay. So, and yeah, Tushar, feel free to just shout when there is a question, because I will just turn off here so I can't actually see the questions, but just let me know when.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
Yeah.
So okay, so basically just a quick introduction, if there's anyone on the call that's not yet familiar with LiveFlow. Looking at the list, I think most people are, but LiveFlow basically lets you import live data from QuickBooks into your Google Sheet, and to help you to build live financial models. So we sit inside of here, and essentially what you can do is come in here and choose any of the QuickBooks reports that you're already familiar with, import that into your sheet, and then get all the data live. So just a quick demo of that in case you haven't seen it yet. Let's say we want to get a P&L for this year of 2023, and then all we need to do is to come in here and click on create a report, and then we will head over to your QuickBooks account, get you the latest P&L, and drop it inside your Google Sheet right here. And most of you already know this, but one of the big benefits of LiveFlow is the ability to customize reports without breaking formulas when you refresh. So if we wanted to say, get the total numbers of revenue and COGS, etc., for say Q1 of 2023, then we could enter a formula here and copy and paste the formula down here. And then what you will see is, once we now go ahead and refresh this report, you'll see that this column that we just inserted stays exactly where it is and doesn't break, which is one of the most powerful features of LiveFlow, is this ability to customize reports without breaking them when you refresh the data. Great. So basically what we'll be focusing on is, I want to show you the underlying logic of how to build something like this. We will wait a bit with the charts and so on. Those are easier to set up, but we'll see how much we get through. So really, if you think about this cash flow forecast that you see here, this is basically built off of 4 weeks of actuals, and then a 13-week forecast that is generated by 4 different mechanisms, which you will see here. So the way this works is that we can either take the average of the last 4 weeks. We can do a manual input, which essentially just allows us to override this value and do like this, for instance, and then have the forecast automatically populate. The two other ways that we built into this, which is on the more advanced side, is to look at the accounts receivables due dates as well as the accounts payables due dates. So if we change it to this, you'll see that in week 6 here, we have some accounts receivables that are due to be received, which means that the formula then automatically does the job of collecting us or giving us that data into the model. And we will go further into the details on the formulas a little bit later, but just to give a quick overview, you can see inside of here, it says if the value here in cell H41 is equal to by AR due date, then head over to the invoice and bills charts and get us that data point. Similarly, it does it for the other values in a different mechanism. But anyways, let me just open up this chart that we want to show you here. So what's going on here, and we'll dive into this in detail later, but just to give you the quick insight, what's going on here is that this is a sort of underlying data table, which is grabbing the values from the invoices as well as from the AP detail report. I think we just need to update this to AR. Anyways, cool. So if we head back here, then what we have here is essentially an accounts selector for where we use data validation to list all of your chart of accounts. So if you want to change one of your accounts to be something different here, you would simply come in, change that, and then you'll see the numbers are updating automatically here as well. We can change this to anything we like, and it will do the work for us. So okay, so let me do like this. I'm gonna go ahead and just build a bit of this from scratch. But as you can see, this is a large model. So I don't think we'll get to everything. But what I think the most important takeaway that you can understand from this presentation is really about how it's built, so that you can take it and then tweak it to be your own thing going forward. So if we just start from a blank sheet here, so let's call it new forecast. And this one we can just hide. We don't need that right now. So really, the way we like to construct these dashboards is obviously is really to ask, what's the end output that we're looking for, and then work backwards from there to get there. So the overall goal of this is to predict when are we going to be short of cash, and therefore when do we need to do anything. So really the key output of this model is found here in the opening balance and the closing balance of the cash flow, because that's what we need to check for if the business is running in a healthy manner. So with that, the way we can get that is by doing a combination of looking at the actuals and combining that with the forecast. So what we'll do is we're just going to do say cash flow forecast. Now this is going to not look as pretty as the other one does, because we're obviously doing this from scratch. But we will get there. So what we can then do is to say we want to have the actuals here. We want to have 4 weeks of actuals. And then what we can do is to get the right period is inside here. You'll see we already have a data validation tab inserted. So what I'll do is I'm just going to copy this here to save a little bit of time of having to do that from scratch, and then paste this here and paste the data validation only. Then it should give us the same weeks that we have over there. And if we now select, say, what do we have today? May 20, the closest to May 26th, so May 27th. We can have that be our starting date. So then what we need to get the prior 4 weeks from this date. And as you can see over here, the way this is done is actually a very simple formula. You simply just specify the starting date, and then you minus that with 7 days. So if we go in here, we can say this value minus 7, and then gives us May 20th, May 13th, and May 6th. And what's really handy about this is that this now gives us the ability to come in and change the current date that we want to look at the actuals for, and then we automatically get the preceding 4 weeks of that. We can also set this up to be fully automatic, such that it basically grabs the current week we're in and gets the right date from them. But this is actually a way to get just a little bit of more flexibility on choosing the dates. Okay, so I see we have a question. Marie Lyons. Hey Marie, how are you? How do you get access to this premium template? I have a paid LiveFlow account, but it's just asked me to request a demo. So yeah, the best way is to just click on that button of request a demo, and then we can set up a walkthrough like this to show you how we can make it work for you and for your clients, help you to get it set up. And the reason why this is in the premium category is because this is a template that takes a little bit of work to kind of roll out to a whole bunch of clients. Hence why we really want to help you to set it up. So just request it there, and then someone from our team will be in touch. Okay. So now the next thing is we want to list out our chart of accounts like we have over here, and then we want to build the opening balance, the cash in, cash out, and closing balance. So I'm just going to start with building this up. So we'll say opening balance, cash in, cash out, closing balance, and then we had closing balance, balance, numbers, check. Okay, that's fine. We can leave that now. So now the question is, so how do we grab the opening balance of this value? And this one is a little bit of more of a complicated formula. We're using the index match formula that we use in pretty much all of our templates, with a little bit of a tweak to the way the formula is written to get us the right data. So let me just update it here. So what this does, in short, and I'll do it in a second, is that it gives us the value from May 6, 2023 from our total bank accounts coming from the balance sheet. But then we are minusing the May 6th here with 7 days, which gives us the opening balance on that week. So just to show you how this is done is we can just write the formula here. So let me find the balance sheet we have here. So what we need to grab in this case is we need to grab the starting from the row 11 here, and then we can drag it all the way over. And then we want to match the value that we get in total bank accounts here. So we can specify total bank accounts. And then the next step is now to grab the accounts where we find the value, which is in here. So like this. And now we need to find a match on the corresponding date, which we can do by heading over to the new forecast here and then grabbing the date that we want to match, which is this one. And then we can come back to the balance sheet and then specify the whole row 11 here where we will find a value for that. So if we just do like this now and close this, we can do this like this. We now get the value which corresponds to to April 29th of 2023. Okay. So now like this. Now the thing that you obviously might ask is, so how do we then, like, if we go over to the balance sheet, let me find the right numbers. We can see it here. What was the date we had? April 29th. So that is here. So the value we're getting is 1.3 million. And if I just freeze these column here so you can see what's going on when we drag it over, April 29th. So this is actually the closing balance of this period, right? Because it's the end of that period. So the the way we found a workaround to do this is by, like we have over here, is by essentially taking that data and then minusing it by 7 to get the opening balance. And then we'll get the closing balance by basically compiling cash in minus cash out, or opening balance plus cash in minus cash out. So what I'm going to do is to just say -7 here. And then it's going to give us 974, which is the value that we had in the end of April 22nd, which means that is equivalent to the value of the beginning balance of April 29th. Okay. So now what we can do is to, to lock this row here, and then we can start to copy paste over the formula. So let me just go here and check what we did here. Yeah, that should be fine. So do like this, and then we're starting to get the opening balances. Okay, so question from Andy. Hey, Andy. Can you set custom week end date, or does it have to be based on QBO week settings? Yes, you can set a custom week end date. So that's a great question. The way that we have set it up over here is, you'll actually see that this is the so these are the weeks that we are getting out of QuickBooks. This is a custom formula that we have built where we are basically grabbing the date plus 7 days, which means that you could essentially, like, if you wanted this to be, you know, just to take a random example, like let's say you wanted this to start on Jan 7, but you had a custom, you know, you only had 5 days in a week for whatever reason, you could do the same way like this, and then get the right values for those periods. And this is like, you can do the same with months and with quarters as well. It's really just up to you in terms of like how you and or your clients wants to look at these numbers. So yeah, definitely possible. Cool. Okay, so now we have this. So next step is we need to get the total value of cash in, cash out, and then the closing balance. Now, just to move a little bit faster, I'm just going to copy this here and bring this over here, and then call this cash in. And instead of making all of the different categories, just going to copy these down here and then make another section called cash out. And then we can copy this and bring it down. Then we can essentially choose whichever account we want here for cash out. Obviously completely dependent on which account you want to go into this. So we'll just take some of the random accounts here, and here we can set this to be so let's do like this. Let's say, where did that go? Online sales, and then let's say retail sales, and then SaaS. That's fine. Okay, so now the next step is we need to get the formula to get the right values for here. So what you'll notice over here is that we have again used a combination of an index match formula to give us the right value. So I'm just going to go through this step by step to show you how it's set up. So what we're going to do is we want to say if NA index, and then we want to go over to the P&L, because this number is coming from there. Then we will do the same principle as we did before, specify everything here, say match on the name of the account, which we will find here. And then we will go back to the profit and loss, drag this down. And then we need to do again a second match, which is enabling us to find the value for the corresponding week. So we go back here, and then we'll select this week, and then we'll head back here, select the row 11, lock that, and then close this off, and then we get a value. So the thing that is, the challenge here is, which we haven't solved yet, which we will do now, is that if I now choose a balance sheet account here, so let me just take a random one here. Let's say cash on hand. Yeah, okay. That's fine. The problem is now this formula, it only scans the P&L for potential values, which means that we cannot find any values from the balance sheet because the formula doesn't look at the balance sheet. So the way we can solve for that is similarly to what we have set up over here, is this formula where we say if, count if, and P&L. And really what this does is that this part of it, it checks for whether the account that we have specified exists in the P&L. So let me go and build this. So we'll do like this. So we'll say if, count if, and then we need to specify, hold on, let me just look again here. First, yeah, the accounts and then the value. So we'll say if, count if in this, damn it. Let's open it again. One more time. Okay, and then we go over here. Gosh damn it, it doesn't want to let me move over to the other sheet.
Yeah, we need to just remove the parentheses and then it will go.
Yeah.
The brackets are closed at the end.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Otherwise we can type it manually, which will be fine as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Makes me stuck here. So let's see, A11 through A. And then what we want to check for is this value here. So now we'll just do like this, and it's going to give us an error. So if you go back here and check, you'll see that we are missing a comma, which is a thing that, it will likely happen to you as well when it comes to writing formulas. It happens to us many, many times. When you rewrite formulas here, is that you do get some errors. So now, we also run into problems. So now what we see that this returns false, which is exactly correct, because this cash on hand does not exist in the P&L. So if we change this to be online sales, we now see we get a value because this value does exist over in the P&L. Okay. So now the second argument that we need to now add here is to say, okay, well, so what if the account does not exist in the P&L? So if it's false, like you could say it doesn't exist, like this. And then if we select a different account, we'll say it says doesn't exist to us, right? So now what we need to do is we need to say, okay, instead of saying this, we need to then grab the value over in the balance sheet. So we can do that by using the same principle of the formula that we just wrote, by indexing all the values on the balance sheet. We'll go back here, and then we need to specify the name of the account. Drag that down to check for the value in the right account. And then we need to grab the period, and then we just need to do the last argument, which is to find the corresponding value in this period. And then we can say if there's an error, we can just do an open string. Okay, so now if we change this to be payroll clearing, we're now getting some, or direct depository, we're getting some values, which means that this is now working. Okay, so now what we have left to do is just to lock this formula like this so that we can copy and paste it over here. And we start to get the right values and do the same thing down here. So now this is what enables you to go in here, select a different account, and then we'll show you the updated values based off of the weeks up here. Similarly, if you change this starting week to be different, you'll see all the values are automatically updating as well. Okay, so now the things we have left to just do over here is to get the total value of the cash in, cash out, and then the closing balance. So this is relatively simple, but can obviously be made more complicated depending on how you like to set up the formulas. So we can do it either of two ways. We can add a line here that says total cash in, and we can take the sum of these values and drag this over, and then we can just do a direct link here to say this should be equal to this. And we can do the same down here for the total cash out. Nope, that was wrong. Grab these. And then copy it over. Okay. So now what we can do is we can copy this over here. And we can say cash out should be equal to this. And this. And then we can, let's just make this bold. And then now we get that the closing balance is now going to be equal to starting balance plus cash in minus cash out.
Yeah.
And then we can copy this over.
Yeah, we have one question from Andy. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a sec. I'll just open it. So do you use balance sheet accounts when company is on accrual basis? I imagine using P&L accounts would break and not work unless on cash basis. Yeah, well, I mean, you can basically do both. The inside LiveFlow here, you can select between accrual and cash for each of your reports, which means that if you want, say, the balance sheet, this is now set to be a cash method. The P&L is set to be by cash as well. But if you wanted to change either of them to any different method, you could come in here and change this over here, and then update and refresh the report, and then the data will update automatically. So yeah. Let me know if that did or didn't answer the question. Otherwise, we'll try again. Cool. So now this is like the this is the base for building out this model, which is starting to now look somewhat proper and can start to add a little bit better fonts and so on. So now the next stage, which is the thing that we have built over here, which is this forecast drivers, is I think what I'll do is I'm just going to do it in a sort of little bit more simplified way, so that we can cover most of the ground as possible. And then we will go and see how much we can get through. So let me see, we can do, let's do like this, forecast drivers. And we don't need this for now. So let's merge this cell. And then, as you've probably noticed over here is that we have, these different input types, which allows us to pick, and then that is based off the formula here. So I'm just going to start by doing the average of the last 4 weeks. And then we'll see if we can get through the others. If not, we may just copy and paste over the formula, which you can also do if you grab this template and set it up for yourself. Yeah. Is that obviously we built the formulas already. Yeah. Okay, I see there's another question.
Yes. Yeah.
So you recommend using cash basis reports from VWO. So you recommend using cash basis reports for this generally, but we can use either as we see fit. Yeah, I mean it's purely up to you in terms of you know better how the accounting and bookkeeping is done for each company. So obviously we recommend using the data that is the most up to date and the most real time to generate a weekly report. But yeah, it's totally up to you what you prefer and what the client prefers, of course, to use. Cool. Okay, just give me 1 sec. Tushar, do you have anything to add meanwhile?
Sorry. Yeah, I think this is, I mean, I see that a lot of questions are coming. That's really great. I encourage also others to ask as well. I'm sure there are so many questions you have, but please go ahead and ask. Yeah, that's what we are here for. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let's do like this. I just need to have some breath here so I can see what's going on. Okay, so to build a forecast is now we need to, instead of minusing dates, we need to now add dates to get the value here. So we'll say May 7 plus, or May 6, sorry, plus 7, which gives us now May 13, and then we can drag this out a bit. We need to just copy the format here. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so now we have a few weeks. So Now, what we want to do is we want to basically start down here, because now what we are predicting is we're predicting the values up here in the opening, closing, and cash in, cash out purpose. And to generate that, what we need is we need to get the values for these. So let's do like this, say type, and then we'll say month on month growth. Oh, sorry, this should not be month on month, week on week growth. And this could be customized to be a monthly template as well, using the same, pretty much the same principle. So we'll say average last 4 weeks, and this we will customize afterwards. Then we can say 10%. This will likely be, if you grow an account 10% week over week, then you are having a great business. So we may want to set this to be a bit lower, but this is of course very business dependent. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to first make this an input cell, so that we can see that this should indicate that this is a cell where we can input values in. And then just to show you like how we are actually going to go about this is that if we, let me just see if I can get a period where we have a little bit more data here, so that looks better. Retail sales. Okay, we need to get some more data inside of this company, but anyways, so if we want to grab the average of the last 4 weeks, that's pretty simple. We take the average here, and then we get that value. We'll delete this in a minute, but just to show you like the interim formulas that we need in order to set this up. So if we head back over here, then the way this works is if we select average last 4 weeks and we insert a growth rate here, you'll see the numbers here are now updating as a result of that. If we set this to 50%, we're like suddenly growing really, really fast, which is obviously be amazing. So as you can see, what this does is that it takes the average of the last 4 weeks, and then it multiplies that by the growth rate that we have set inside of the cell right here. So let's go ahead and do the same thing over here. So we can say this is the average multiplied by 1 plus the value here, and then we get the value for the growth rate. So now I'm just gonna do a let's log the this one, the column, and this one we can also log the we'll do this full log for now. Now if we drag this out, and you'll see that we now should start to get yeah, okay, so this is a mistake that we often make as well. Just note that now to get the weekly growth rate, if we change this, you'll see no difference, right? So what we need to do here is the next formula here needs to start by referencing the starting value, which we have in the cell here, because then it will compound over time. So if we update this and copy paste the formula over, you'll see that now if we change this, we're starting to get more values inside of here. Okay, so we can just, this might be actually useful just to keep. So average of 4 weeks. Yeah, we'll just keep this for now because it may actually be a helpful value for you just to see. And it just makes it a little bit easier to actually go and read the formula to understand what's going on. So now what we can do as the next step is to we can either copy paste this down, or we can start to build the logic in terms of doing the if then that when it comes to the thing that you've seen over here, where we have 4 different if statements where we are looking for different things depending on what we choose. So just because it will take a little bit longer to write this formula from scratch, I think I'm just going to stick to showing how it works with the average last 4 weeks, and then you can always come in here, copy paste the formula, or of course you use this as the template where you don't need to build anything from scratch. So to drag this down, this is actually I think this could be very useful for a lot of people to know about. So if you copy paste this down, you'll quite often encounter that you face some trouble doing this. Now we're just going to check if it actually works, which I think it does. No, it doesn't, because as you can see here, I made a mistake I locked the whole cell in here in cell I11, which means that this is not going to move, anywhere. So what I need this to be is when I move the formula down, is that it automatically grabs the right value, which is the value in cell I of 12. And you're likely already familiar with cell referencing and absolute and relative references and locking cells. But basically what this means is that if we lock this whole cell, it means that it's not going to move anywhere. So now just to demonstrate the difference is if I do like this and copy and paste down, you'll see that now it keeps the column, but it moves the row down. So this is what we need. Now, if I do like this and do like this, they'll see that it's still referencing the wrong cell, which we don't need. So what I need to do here is I need to also update this and paste it down, and then it starts to work. So now what I can do is copy paste this here, and then this is now working for all of the other cells inside of here. It's looking at the right values. And this is just, this is something that's just really important, I think, to understand, because and it may be, for some it may be new, for others it may be this is maybe super basic, but it's like if you had to write a formula in every cell and do it manually, you would not be very happy. So just learning these references is just very, very useful to understand how it works.
Yeah,
okay.
We have a question.
We have a question.
Ali.
Yeah, just give me one sec. Okay, so I see here. So is there a cost to use premium template, or we just have to do a demo walkthrough in order to get access? So yeah, there is a cost to the premium templates. It depends on which template it is, and how much help and so on is needed. And then we can make a custom quote for you. Cool. All right, so now we have average last 4 weeks, and we have the week growth. And then what we need here is the sum of the total cash in, which we can do like this and paste this over. So now we're starting to get somewhere. Obviously there's a lot more that still needs to be built, but now I should be able to copy all of this and bring down the logic to here. And if I look at these are correct, and the averages are also correct, which is great. And then I get the sum, which also works. So now essentially we are starting to get the values that we need for to generate the opening balance and the closing balance for the forecast. So now the question is, okay, so June 3rd, 2023 opening balance, where are we going to find that? And we will find that. We can just show you how it's set up in the other, or in the actual template here. We will find that very simply just in the closing balance of the prior period. So what we can do here is to just simply do a reference to this, and that's going to work. We can close or lock that completely as well. So now what we need to get again is the total of cash in, which we can actually now just go ahead and copy the formula that we have over here, as well as here, which is now going to generate us the total of cash in versus cash out and the closing balance. And similarly, we can copy paste the formula here to compute the sum of the closing balance. Okay, so now next is we need to now do the same for June 10th, and this is to no surprise, the opening balance of June 10 is the equivalent of the closing balance of June 3rd. So what we can do is do a direct reference here. And these ones we can copy over because these are already set up like this. And then now we should actually just be able to copy paste this all the way out here. And now we're starting to get somewhere, because now we're getting those values that we need in order to determine like how much cash are we going to be left with in a given period of time. Okay, so let me just add a little bit of formatting to this so it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. And we can do like this, add a border here. Okay, so now we have the forecast, somewhat built out. It's still in a basic format, of course. But what you'll see now is if we change this average, or sorry, the latest date for the actuals to be, say, April 22nd, you'll see that everything over here now updates as a function of that, which is just really handy because it means that whenever the week here changes to the next week or the next month, if you wanted to do that, then everything here is done by the formulas automatically. Cool. Okay. Let me just see here. So yeah, we'll not go through this in detail, but highly recommend just checking out the template to get this formula. You can, of course, add additional if statements to this if you need to, for where, you know, if you have alternative ways, like, and we always say, you know, our templates is a template for the specific purpose of that. You can take it and tweak it to what you need it to be, which means that if you need to have, you know, say another if statement here that you want to check for something different, then you can very easily add that to the formula as well. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do a quick sort of overall walkthrough of the rest that's going on in the template, to try to give you the kind of knowledge, etc., to be able to use it for yourself. And I see we have a question. So John, hey, I have multiple companies in QuickBooks and need an enterprise-wide TWCF, assuming that means something with cash flow. I don't know what TW stands for, but would it be best to do a TWCF Google Sheet template for each co and then have an aggregated 13 weeks? Okay, got it. Thank you. Would it be best to have a 13-week cash flow Google Sheet template for each company and then have an aggregating Google Sheet, or would it be best to have all codes in one? Yeah, great question. So summary, the question is, you know, what do we do if we need to do this on a consolidated level? Yeah, that's a really good question. So what I would think about is, John, number one is I would think about, does, you know, each company or each QuickBooks company that you have, can they view, like, the people who are viewing that data, are they okay to see all the data, right? Because if not, then I would probably recommend setting up a different sheet, and then using a formula to then aggregate the sheets. The downside of that approach is that it is it can make the sheet quite fragile, right? If you tried that to do that before, it's generally not the best practice, but it's possible. If everyone can see the data from all entities, that's fine. Then what I would recommend is to basically what you would do is you would import each Google Sheet, or sorry, each P&L, balance sheet, invoice report, AP report, whatever you need, into one Google Sheet like this. And then either you can take some of our consolidation templates and apply some of that logic here, or if you're comfortable, you can build out your own way of doing it. But then I would think about it as import the different reports we need, do a consolidated P&L, do a consolidated balance sheet to aggregate the numbers, and then use those numbers to then pull in the numbers into the cash flow forecast that we need. Because I mean, I'm just thinking here, well, obviously depends on if you also want the cash flow to be on an entity level, but if not, then I would go by it as, and think of it as P&L, 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 consolidation, balance sheet, balance sheet, consolidation, and then consolidation, balance sheet, consolidation, P&L into the consolidated forecast is how I would think about it. Yeah. Does that make sense, John? You're welcome to write again if any more questions. Cool. Okay. Otherwise, great. Thanks, John. Otherwise, we can take it offline and help you separately. Cool. Okay. So last, okay, I know we had 47 minutes, so I know you don't have the whole day. So just to round up here, the way that the charts here are set up is essentially by our, let me find the sheet name, which is usually a hidden sheet. Where is that? Hold on. Chart data here is, this is coming from this underlying sheet that we have called chart data, you'll find that a similar sheet like this in many of our templates. And what this does is that it does these kind of underlying mechanics of building out the charts, and we usually hide it just because it's not, you don't really view this, but you can always find it inside the templates. So in short, what's going on here is that we are using formulas, again, as you've seen already, to compute the value, for instance, here to get the cash we have as of today. And this is coming from the report we have here called balance sheet as of today, which you'll see us updated as of today. And it gives us the total bank accounts data. It sums up all of our invoices. It looks at our current assets from the balance sheet, current liabilities, and then we use a formula to calculate the working capital. And really, anything in here, and let me just see if it's going to update. If I change it as to be invoices new, okay, it doesn't update on the chart, but really, these charts that we have built here you can modify them to anything that you need, right? This is essentially just quote unquote a scorecard chart, which enables you to select the value that you want to show. And then whenever it updates whenever the value updates, it shows the right format or value, sorry. And then at last, what we have over here is this little table, which helps us to get this chart that we have here. So what you'll notice is that this is basically starting from this value here. So if we change this value to anything different, you'll see the chart also updates. And this value here, June 3rd of 2023, is coming from what we have selected over here. So whenever we update this is going to update, which means the chart is now going to update as well. And as you see here now, this is now updated to February 11th. Cool. Okay, so I know we didn't get to go through the whole template here, but this is also one of the larger ones. But hopefully this provides like a good introduction to how this is built from the ground up and how you can do the same thing. Remember that you can really customize anything to your own needs and to exactly what you need. The important thing to mention though is that this is a 13-week forecast. It can also be made into a 6 months forecast, into a 12 months forecast, into a daily forecast. Even if you need that, it's not a lot of people that do that, but it can be done. So really think about it as this is the framework, but the dates and the periods can be tweaked to pretty much anything that that you need. And with that, I just thought to round up, I wanted to show, just in case this is new to anyone, what really just is dependent on this is how you select display columns by in your reports, which means that if you select month, it will show it on a monthly basis. If you select week, it will show weekly basis. If you say quarter, it will show quarterly. And if you select day, it's gonna give you, and I think this should hopefully not break the whole sheet now, but it might take a little longer to import. It's gonna give you a P&L by day, which is the most customizable way to get a report, because here you actually get each single number for every single day in the year. So if you have very, very custom things, this is a way to do it. The only caveat here, just to warn you, is that the report, because it has now 365 columns, can become very long, so just be aware of that. Cool. Okay. I think that would be it for today. Really appreciate all of the questions that came up. And if there's anything that you need help with, reach out to us through our support or through our emails, which most of you likely already have. And then we'll see if we can help you get this set up. Cool. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.